Well, our next guest doesn't see it that way at all. He says it's time to tighten the noose on Wall Street.
Carl Jeffers is a Democratic political analyst. We haven't tightened the noose at all, or just a bit? Where do you stand?
Well, we certainly haven't gotten started to the point we need to. Our previous guest said, are you going to blame Wall Street for everything? The answer is no. We're not going to blame Wall Street for everything. We're just going to blame them for what they did. But what they did was pretty much everything. I mean, does the Tea Party ring a bell to anybody? I mean, the anger in America started with the $700 billion for the TARP funds. And what was that for? Because we were told that we were on the precipice of economic disaster caused by the reckless financing that was done by agencies like AIG, corporations, and Wall Street. Yeah. But what happened after that, the American people weren't that comfortable with the bailout to begin with. But we had to do it. They said it was necessary. But once they got the funds, what did they do with it? Did they help the Americans get refinanced on their mortgages? Did they help Main Street get started with new business financing? No. They bought other banks. They sent some of it to Europe.
But Carl,
they invested
you just put your finger on the point. Carl, you put your finger on the point, and then you ran over your own point, which was that it was Wall Street working in tandem with the government. It was the TARP program in which government was put our money, taxpayers' money, to back up a lot of these bailouts of the millionaire bankers. That wasn't right. It's the combination of the two that's the problem, not one or the other, right?
That's true, David, but I didn't run over my point. I just stepped aside because I had a barreling truck coming down about those bonuses. Because the reality is, David, you know what happened? Once they then started giving the bonuses out, I mean, most people in America had a worse year in 2009 than they did in 2008. Yet the bonuses were larger for many of these companies last year.
And the guys who got us into it, we know that argument. The guys who got us into it are now doing way better than most Americans. But Carl, do you get the sense that that we're not going about it in the right way? We haven't even been able to implement the easiest of I guess regulations, such as if you want to trade your credit default swaps, fine. Just make sure you have the capital behind them so that when you get into trouble again, we don't have to pay.
Right. Well, you know, part of that problem is that many of the people in the Congress who are legislating this are very vulnerable to lobbying and to the arguments that are very financially delicate, and they are not able, in fact, to stand and withstand it other than just the general anger. But once you get past the general anger and you start the specifics, the Wall Streeters are very effective in making their points about, well, we're willing to go along with reform, but we can't do this and we can't do that.
So it's the lawyers and the lobbyists that should take all the blame. On that, I think we all could agree. Carl Jeffers, great to see you, my friend. Thanks very much.
Always a pleasure to visit with you.
Thank you.
Thank you.